The third type of tissue that you need to know is muscle tissue. And muscle tissue has the function of providing movement for the body, but it also allows for movement of organs. So muscle contractions are going to allow the heart to pump and allow the walls of hollow tubular organs like the digestive tract and blood vessels and the bladder to also contract and change shape in order to allow them to do their jobs effectively. We are going to divide muscle tissue into two groups first, striated and non-striated. And you can see probably here in picture A the little lines that are kind of going across the muscle fiber itself, the muscle cell itself. Those are called striations. They're stripes. And there are two kinds of muscle that have the stripes. Picture A is showing you skeletal muscle, which is striated muscle, and picture B is showing you cardiac muscle, which is also striated. But both of them have other distinguishing characteristics that we'll talk about in a moment. Smooth muscle is characterized as smooth because it does not have striations. It's smooth. Smooth muscle looks to be kind of spindle shaped sometime, which basically means that the long cell is like wider in the middle than it is on the ends, and it kind of has these little points here and here. So oftentimes you'll see in books that the smooth muscle has a spindle shaped cell. But first, let's talk about our striated muscle tissue. Let's talk about skeletal first. Skeletal's principal attachment is to bone, and it's responsible for the movement and posture of the skeleton. We can further characterize skeletal muscle as being voluntary muscle, meaning that it's under our direct control. We can choose to move or to not move it. But not all striated muscle is voluntary. Cardiac muscle is striated, however, it's involuntary, which is a good thing because you have enough to think about without having to tell your heart to beat throughout the entire day. So it does that all on its own. Part of the reason why the heart is able to pump blood effectively is because the cells work together to form a specific rhythm that we know of as the heartbeat itself. And the reason why the cells are able to work together like that is that they're connected to one another with a structure that's called an intercalated disc. The intercalated discs are going to allow the muscle cells of the heart to communicate directly with one another, and therefore you get this rhythmic motion of contraction and relaxation that's going to push blood through the body. If you look at this picture of the tissue here, there's an intercalated disc there. There's one there. You can see them pretty much all over. I think one thing that's striking about the cardiac muscle slide is that it doesn't seem to be as neat and orderly as the skeletal muscle is picture A. And that's because the cardiac muscle is branched. The cells actually divide into different branches. These muscle cells also have about 2 nuclei. And remember, even though cardiac muscle is striated, even though it has the stripes, which you can't see it too well on this picture, but even though it has stripes, it's still involuntary. Finally, we have smooth muscle. Um, Smooth muscle does not have the dark and light bands that, so therefore it doesn't appear to be striped. Um, but what smooth muscle is going to do is it's going to allow for slow, long contractions. These are the types of contractions that are needed in the digestive system in order to push food through at a slow rate so that nutrients and water can be reabsorbed by the body. But you're also going to find smooth muscle in the urinary bladder. You'll find it in the blood vessels and also in reproductive structures. So non-striated or smooth muscle is also involuntary. And again, that's a good thing. After you eat your lunch, you don't want to have to sit there and tell your body what to do with it. It just takes care of getting the nutrients out of your food all on its own. So that is all I have to say about muscle tissue for now. Thanks.